Hello, my friend. Today's video is very important for you. I'm not saying this just to sound dramatic. I'm saying this because somewhere deep inside, you might be fighting a battle that nobody knows about. So I request you, watch this video till the end. And if even one line touches your heart, don't forget to subscribe, because this channel is not just about motivation, it's about transformation. Now, let me tell you a story. Once, in a quiet little village, there lived an old woman. She didn't own much. Her house was small, the walls were cracked, the roof made soft sounds when the wind blew, but every evening, without fail, a small lamp would glow in her window. People in the village often wondered about her. She had faced loss, she had faced poverty, she had faced pain that would break most people. Yet, she was always calm. Not fake smiling, not pretending, but truly calm. Children loved sitting near her doorstep. Women shared their worries with her. Even the strongest men in the village sometimes came quietly to ask for advice. And the strange thing? She never gave long speeches. She would just say a few simple words, and somehow people would leave feeling lighter. One day, a young man named Arjun came to her house. He was angry at life. His business had failed. His closest friend had betrayed him. His family expected too much from him. Inside, he felt like he was drowning. He sat down in front of the old woman and said, "Tell me something honestly. Why is life so unfair? Why do bad things keep happening to me?" The old woman looked at him carefully. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stood up slowly and brought a small clay lamp. It was almost empty, with only a little oil left inside. She lit it. The flame flickered weakly. Then she asked Arjun, "What do you see?" He replied, "I see a weak flame. It looks like it might go out any moment." She smiled gently. "Yes, it might, but as long as there is even a drop of oil, it will continue trying." Arjun frowned. "I don't understand." The old woman said, "Life is not unfair. Life is neutral. It gives storms and sunshine to everyone. The difference is not in what happens. The difference is in how much oil you have inside." Arjun looked confused. She continued, "The oil is your patience, your mindset, your gratitude, your strength. When these are full, even strong winds cannot destroy your flame. But when they are empty, even a small problem feels like the end of the world." Arjun sat silently. For the first time, he wasn't blaming life. He was thinking. The old woman leaned closer and said something very powerful. "Pain is not your enemy. Weakness inside is." Those words hit him hard, because deep down, he knew something. He had stopped believing in himself. He had stopped being grateful. He had allowed fear to control his thoughts, and that was when his flame became weak. The old woman then asked him a simple question. "Tell me, before all these problems started, were you always unhappy?" He thought for a moment. "No," he said slowly. "I used to be hopeful. I used to dream big. I used to feel strong." She nodded. "So nothing outside destroyed you. You slowly allowed your inner light to fade." Silence filled the room. Outside, the wind was blowing harder, but inside, that small lamp was still burning. And in that quiet moment, Arjun realized something important. Maybe the real battle is not outside. Maybe the real battle is inside. Arjun watched the small flame dancing on the clay lamp. It flickered, yet it never went out. The old woman sat quietly for a moment, as if listening to the wind. Then she began to speak softly. "My child, I was not always calm like this. I have seen darkness you cannot even imagine." Arjun leaned in closer, his eyes wide, ready to listen. "When I was young, I had a family. A husband who loved me, children who filled the house with laughter. We were poor, but we were happy. Every small thing was a celebration. Even a warm meal felt like a feast. Every sunset felt like a gift. She paused and looked at the flickering lamp. But life has a way of testing us. One day, her husband fell seriously ill. They tried everything they could, but there was no money for proper treatment. Days passed, weeks passed, and then he left this world. Her heart felt like it had shattered. The walls of her small house, which once echoed with laughter, now held only silence. The children cried endlessly, and she cried too. She thought she would never find light again. Arjun's chest tightened. He could feel her pain, even though it had happened decades ago. The old woman continued, "I cried for many nights. I asked why life had done this to me. I was angry, lost, and hopeless. And then, one morning, as the sun rose, I realized something important." Arjun leaned forward. "What?" he asked quietly. She smiled through her tears. "I realized crying would not bring him back. Happiness was not gone. It was still here, waiting for me inside. My children needed me. I had to find the strength to live, not just survive." She reached out and touched the small flame of the lamp. "Every morning," she said, "I would light this lamp and remind myself, today is a new day. I will find one reason to smile." Some days that reason was small, like the warmth of the sun, or the sound of a bird singing, or the laughter of my children. But there was always something. Arjun's eyes filled with tears. He whispered, "So, happiness is a choice?" The old woman nodded slowly. "Yes, my child, it is a choice. You can look at darkness and feel sad, or you can find the light inside you and be thankful. The storms will come, they always do, but they do not define you. Your light does." Arjun understood the secret of that flame. And my friend, the same is true for you. Right now, maybe you are waiting for life to become easier, but what if life is waiting for you to become stronger? Welcome, everyone. Every year, we see the same things again and again. Red hearts, roses, chocolates, romantic messages, and people wishing each other Happy Valentine's Day. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself one simple question? What is Valentine's Day actually about? Where did it really come from? Why is love celebrated on February 14th? And is this day only for couples, or is there a deeper meaning hidden beneath it all? Because behind the flowers and gifts, there is a real human story. A story of courage, a story of sacrifice, a story of love that refused to obey fear. This is not just a holiday. This is the story of a man who chose love when love was forbidden. And as you listen, you're not just learning history. You're improving your English through emotional storytelling, simple language, and real events. So if you enjoy learning English through powerful, true stories, make sure to follow this channel. Because here, stories are not just told, they are felt. Let's travel back nearly 1,800 years. The Roman Empire. Around 250 AD. Rome was powerful, vast, and feared. But it was not peaceful. Wars were constant. Enemies surrounded the empire. Soldiers were needed. Strong, fearless, loyal soldiers. The emperor at that time was Claudius II. He believed he had discovered a dangerous truth. Married men were weak. In his mind, soldiers who had wives and families were distracted. They thought about home. They feared death. They wanted to live. So he made a brutal decision. Marriage was banned. No soldier in the Roman army was allowed to marry. Love became illegal. Commitment became a crime. Young couples suffered in silence. Dreams were crushed quietly. Love was whispered in shadows. But one man refused to accept this world. His name was Valentine. Valentine was not a warrior, not a general, not a politician. He was a Christian priest living in Rome, at a time when Christianity itself was forbidden. Valentine believed marriage was sacred. He believed love was a gift from God. And he believed no ruler had the right to destroy it. So when couples came to him in fear, he did not turn them away. At night, by candlelight, in hidden places, Valentine married them in secret. No music, no guests. Only vows, only faith, only love. The whispers spread. Hope returned. Until the empire found him. Valentine was arrested during a secret wedding. The couple escaped. He stayed. He was dragged through the streets and thrown into prison. When Claudius II confronted him, Valentine spoke calmly. Love does not come from your laws. Love comes from God. The emperor gave him a choice: obey or die. Valentine chose love. Prison was cold, dark, silent. But Valentine did not change. He prayed. He comforted prisoners. He spoke gently to the guards. The jailer, often called Asteris, noticed something different about him. The jailer had a daughter. She was blind since birth. One day she met Valentine. He described the world to her: the sky, the sun, flowers, colors. She listened. She imagined light for the first time. Valentine prayed for her, and, according to legend, she could see. History cannot prove every detail, but the story survived because it mattered. Before his execution, Valentine wrote a final letter to her. He signed it with 4 simple words: "From your Valentine." In the year 269 AD, Valentine was executed. Quietly, without honor, without ceremony. But his story refused to die. Years later, Emperor Constantine the Great legalized Christianity. Stories once whispered were now spoken aloud. Valentine was remembered as a martyr, a protector of love. The church honored him as Saint Valentine. February 14th became his day. During the Middle Ages, people believed birds chose their mates in mid-February. Love filled nature. Writers connected this season with Valentine's sacrifice. In the 1300s, poet Geoffrey Chaucer wrote about love and Saint Valentine, spreading the idea across Europe. People began writing handwritten valentines. Words mattered more than gifts. In 1415, a prisoner named Charles, Duke of Orleans, wrote a Valentine poem to his wife from jail, a letter that still exists today. The 1800s changed everything. Printing became cheap. Cards were mass-produced. In America, Esther Howland popularized commercial Valentine cards. Soon came chocolates, flowers, jewelry, marketing. Love became visible and profitable. Some criticized it, some embraced it. But one truth remained: the world still wanted love. Different cultures celebrate differently. In Japan, chocolates. In Korea, multiple love days. In Mexico, friendship and love. In the Philippines, mass weddings. Even where it was once banned, love found a way. Because love always does. Valentine's Day was never about money. It was never about brands. It was never about pressure. It began with one man in one prison who believed love should never be illegal. That belief lives today. So when you see hearts and flowers, remember, love is brave. Love is sacred. Love is worth choosing, even when the world says no.